I am with video number 1 of the relationship series. Now, this is for you if you happen to be a non-Chinese person in a relationship with a Chinese person, or vice versa, you happen to be a Chinese person in a relationship with a non-Chinese person. So, interracial couples for the win! Yes! Yeah, most of my relationships have been like this, so trust me, I've been there. Any case, so what I wanted to talk to you guys about today is tea. Yes, Chinese people love tea. Very important. So, let me tell you a story. I was in a relationship with a guy who happened to be Caucasian, and it was the first time we were meeting my parents. Yes, I know. First time. Anyways, so we were driving to the restaurant to go and meet my parents, and I said to him, there's one thing. If there is one thing that you do, just this one thing, remember to pour tea. I know, it sounds weird, but tea is very important in the Chinese culture, as you might know, and it's so important that it is used as a sign of how much you respect the elders. Think about it. People get married with the tea ceremony, so it is super important. So pouring tea is the job of the person on the bottom of the totem pole, namely us. Ha! The young people, woohoo! Yes, the older generation gets the tea poured for them. The younger generation gets to pour tea for them. So, I said, hey, just if you do anything, pour tea, okay? And he was a smart cookie. Hey, you know, I'm sure he would have done it. Unfortunately, throughout the dinner, he didn't touch the teapot once. I was like, but why? Why? And my mom's over there across the table saying, grumble, grumble. Why is this guy not pouring tea? Where are his manners? What is going on? And she said it all in Cantonese. Of course, which she did not understand. Huh. Yes. So both Dad and I just sort of looked on me and like, what a disaster. And Mom's just like, oh my goodness, blah, 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 in Cantonese. And he was just like, I don't know what's going on. Why is she speaking Cantonese? And so after the dinner, I was driving back with him, and I asked him one question. I was like, tea, why? And he said, you and your mom, you never let me even get a chance to touch that teapot. I was like, what? Your teacups never got empty enough for me to pour tea. Huh? And then, bing, I realized that I had not realized beforehand that we pour tea as Chinese folk. We pour tea at half empty instead of empty. Tactical error. So, I am here today to make sure that you do not make the same errors that I did. Yeah. Parental approval. Yeah. Making sure that people like you. Yeah. Impressing your girlfriend or boyfriend or significant other's family. Yeah. So, without further ado, let us move on to actual tea pouring. Yay! All right, we're going to start with teapots, because how do you brew tea without teapots? You can't. So, we have 2 main types of teapots that are available nowadays. First is the type with the ear on the side, the handle on the side that you can see here. This is the normal one that you would find in a restaurant. At home, however, sometimes you have teapots with the handles on the top, as shown here. So you will see the white teapot more often in restaurants, but we're just trying to cover all our bases. Now that we have our teapot, we want to make sure that we can grab them from anywhere on the table, as they are sometimes going to be far away. We want to use our strength effectively, so here are a few positions that you can try in your practice of lifting teapots and pouring tea, because it's always better to practice before the final show. All of our demonstrations are going to be on the white teapot, as that is the one that you will see most often in restaurants. So the main thing to keep in mind is to make sure that one of your very strong weight-bearing fingers is used on the bottom of the handle as the base, essentially, of how you hold your tea. So as you see here, make sure that the weight of the handle is placed on the second knuckle of either your third finger or your fourth finger. Put the thumb on top of the handle, at least one finger, if not two, inside the handle, and then the last finger on the base. Please do not use only your pinky on the bottom of the handle. Your pinky is not strong enough to hold a teapot. Not good. Pouring tea, scalding people. Don't do it. There is actually another issue with putting your fingers inside the loop of the handle. The more fingers you have in there, or the larger your hand, the more likely you are going to accidentally touch the side of the teapot, which is hot. Remember, we are pouring hot tea. Try not to burn yourself. I would highly suggest only putting 1 or 2 fingers in the loop of the handle when you are pouring tea. So sometimes when people are first starting out or they're unused to pouring tea, they will feel that the teapot may be a little bit heavy, especially at the beginning of the meal when the teapot is full. Now, the temptation is to use 2 hands and put the fingers right here to support the spout. Unfortunately, that has some bad consequences. Don't try this at home, kids, because what happens is when you pour the tea and you lift back up, often a bead or a little bit of liquid will come back down this spout and end up hurting your hand or burning your hand. You don't want that to happen. I'm using cold tea to protect myself, but that is one of the things that you have to watch out for. So I would highly, highly recommend you not use your second hand at all when you are pouring tea. The only time that I would suggest that you use your second hand is if you are pouring tea and you're really almost at the end of your teapot and this is starting to fall out. So you would want to use your hand, press the lid down on the pot, make sure it doesn't fall anywhere. Any sort of steep angle of the teapot may have the lid a little bit in an unstable position, and that is why you would want to do that. Otherwise, keep that second hand away. Okay, so you are at the restaurant and you are ready to pour some tea. Oh yeah, because you have done your homework and you are culturally savvy. Yeah. All right. So first, look at your party. Are you the youngest person? If you are the youngest person that is not like a teenager, then you are probably going to be tasked with pouring the tea. Just the fact. All right? Then you should look at approximately how big their table is. If you have a table for 4 or 6, then you could probably pour tea for all of them. But if you are at a table that has one of those rotating things in the middle, then you are highly unlikely to be able to pour tea for everybody. So keep the teapot, in that case, if you've got a large table, keep the teapot in the center with the rotating dishes. Otherwise, keep the teapot on by your side if you are the youngest tea designee. Okay? All right, so for the purposes of this demonstration, I'm going to use a glass cup. Certainly do not pour tea in a glass cup at a restaurant. You're unlikely to see a glass cup anyways, but glass does transmit heat, and you're going to make it very uncomfortable for anybody to drink hot tea from this type of cup. I'm only using it for demonstration purposes so that you can see the color and the level of the tea. Okay, so you sat down and the waiter has brought you the teapot. You are ready. You are like, yeah, I'm going to pour some tea. But hold your horses, because first you need to test out how strong is the tea. If you pour about half an inch to an inch into the first teacup, you will be able to see what color the tea happens to be at that time. If it is this color, do not pass go, do not continue pouring. The tea is too weak, and you do not want to serve weak tea to the people at the table. Stop. Wait for a minute or two. You can continue pouring after that. Double check the color. If it looks like this, then you're golden, and you can continue pouring tea to all of the other people at the table. So when should you actually pour the tea, right? This is the approximate level that you should be pouring the tea. As you see here, it is about halfway between the top and the bottom. That is when you should be reaching for your teapot and pouring the tea. So how full is too full, right? This is about right. You want to leave just a little bit of space between the rim of the cup and the actual tea level, so that when they take the cup, then they don't spill it over themselves. Want to make sure that they don't get scalded, right? So any more than this is considered too full. Do not pour too much tea in somebody's cup. Err on the side of caution, okay? But Amaret, what if I see this really, really weird gesture? That is something that often a traditional person, or perhaps someone of the older generation, will do, and it is a symbol for thank you. They're not irritated at you. They're not trying to make you go faster. They're just saying, thank you for pouring me tea. The origins of this particular hand gesture are the fingers as the person. So when you bend your knees, bend your fingers, it's like you're bowing to the person who happens to be pouring you tea. And when you knock, it's sort of like, I'm bowing to you. Thank you for pouring me tea. So it's actually a very polite gesture, so don't be thrown off if somebody actually does that to you. Normally, you will either knock against the saucer, but more frequently, you will knock against the table itself. And just a few taps will do if you want to do the gesture yourself. So you're in the middle of dinner, and you run out of tea. It was going to happen, right? Everybody's drinking from the same teapot. You've only got so much tea. So this is what you do in order to signal to the waiter that you need more hot water. Take the teapot and take the lid and put it on the side, like so. And as long as you put it in your teapot in this way, with the lid open, on the side of the table closest to the aisle, you're good. And your waiter's going to be like, oh yeah, this person, they need more water. And they're just going to automatically get you some more tea. Now remember, check the tea color when you get the new pot of tea. Make sure that it's not too watery, but otherwise, you're pretty good. So I hope you are feeling confident next time you meet your Asian significant other, family members, in-laws, future in-laws. Very important to set the tone right at the beginning of a relationship. Yes, so just remember the main things. Practice lifting a teapot at home, the correct technique. Make sure that the teapot is close to you if you happen to be the person that needs to be pouring the tea. Make sure that the color is not too light. If it's too light, wait a little bit more for it to brew. Make sure to keep an eye out on the table, scan for tea levels. Half empty equals go and pour some tea. And also, just remember the gestures. You don't have to make them yourself, but at least don't be confused if somebody else does the gesture to you, and on how to refill the tea. Of course, with the lid open on the side of the table where the waiter can get to it. So thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the Asian Relationship Series video 1, Tea. And if you want to see more like this, then please comment down below and tell me what topic you want me to cover next. And subscribe to this channel so that you'll get the news when the next video comes out. Hot off the presses. Alright, well, I hope you have a great day and happy tea pouring! Bye!